Welcome to the Business Shop Podcast, where our guests speak on meeting the challenges of entrepreneurship, as well as offer tips and advice on business, marketing, technology, and more. Whether you are a newbie or a seasoned professional, this episode is for you. I am your host, Audrey Wiggins.
Let's chop it up.
It's great to be in this chair again, and my guest for this episode is Curt Tueffert. Curt's background is broad and it's deep. He has over 30 years in sales and sales management. That provided him with some perspective on the art and science of integrating sales and marketing into the world of associations and corporate clients. Now, as a professor, yes, he's a professor as well. At the University of Houston, he's in the Bauer College of Business. Now, Curt has had the honor and joy to teach both graduate classes and undergraduate classes for almost 20 years. And most of the time, the topic of sales is sales related. Yet in the Bauer College Master's Program, he taught business communication. And we talked about that off camera a little bit, how important communication is in business. That allowed both the real world and academic worlds to be applied to credit unions. And that's interesting. So I know we'll talk about that. He's the author of 2 books and part of an anthology in another. He often is a speaker, speaks in the revenues behind being a speaker. This is an entrepreneur piece in there, is what happens at the back of the room after the talk or the workshop is over. What do you have to offer those that are in the audience? Now, Curt is also the winner of the 2017 Stevie Award for Sales Development. Now, that award it's based on the work or the body of work done and a submission from peers. And who actually puts that award on, Curt?
Yeah, I think it's the Sales and Marketing Technology Forum, something of that nature, that puts that on. And it really was an honor to be even considered. And then once the body of work was submitted to win that award.
Okay, that's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome. And Professor Tueffert, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Audrey. Thank you very much. And I look forward to being here. And I know that your listeners really are kind of leaning in right now, trying to find out what's the latest and the greatest magic that we could share with them so that they can move their product and service further down the road, especially in these crazy times, especially with the economy.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to back up for a little bit into your professorship. I checked you out on Rate My Professor. And folks, I'll tell you, the students who left their ratings, 100% of them said they would actually take his courses again. So if he's great as a professor, he's got to be great as a business consultant. So that's awesome, Curt. So, so what do you do when you are not speaking for your clients?
When I'm not speaking for my clients, I've got this phenomenal, some people call it a job. I just call it a place to play. I represent a $1 billion industrial distributor named DXP, and I'm their vice president of sales development. So what that allows me to do is to take everything that I teach, everything that I speak on, and actually apply it to the real world here in Houston, Texas, where egos are probably the size of the state, sales egos. So if I think of something that is academically valid and I try it in the real world, I guarantee you my sales team will tell me that stuff doesn't work. And it's just phenomenal to be able to balance both worlds, the business acumen as well as the academic acumen.
Yeah, absolutely. That's got to be fun, especially when you're in academia, then you have the young minds.
Yes.
Help shape and, make a difference for our future. Yeah, absolutely. Now, in problem solving for your clients or your constituents, and tell us about that. What do you do there?
Audrey, that's a great question. How do you problem solve as it relates to whether it's a small to medium-sized business, whether it's a sales value proposition that you're trying to communicate? And there's this old thing called Occam's razor, where sometimes the best path is the most simple path. So problem solving to me is all about trying to get to understand the person, try to get into their shoes, get on the other side of the desk and help them to understand or help me to understand what their problem is from various vantage points. Is it a cost problem? Is it a value problem? Is it a communication problem? Is it a perception problem? And then we start breaking it down and we reduce it to the ridiculous to determine is there a merit and value? We take that merit and value and then bring it back to where it's relevant to the listener or to the audience.
And give me an example of that.
Simple example in problem solving is, why will that customer not buy my stuff? And it's like, okay, do they need your stuff? Do they perceive that your stuff has value? Do they trust you as a human being, as an organization? We break that down to determine, is there a way to communicate my value differently? Is there a way to present my product in a way that actually resonates with the person? Am I actually talking to the right people? I use the example of glasses. If we're trying to sell glasses to people who have no noses or ears, well, how are we going to get these glasses to stay on their face?
That's right.
And so we're running around trying to talk to a bunch of people without noses and ears, and we're frustrated. Well, you're talking to the wrong person. And so we break the problem down into the value proposition. What's the issue? What are the actions I can take to address the issue? And then what is the impact of the actions? And if I can determine what the issue is and be clear about it, and what actions I can take to address that issue, differentiate. I am different because I add value through, and we can fill in those blanks.
Okay. Yeah, that was a good answer right there. Now, you also over at DXP, there's even though you're the vice president of the company, you created some tools inside there that I think can translate into our entrepreneurship.
Okay. Wow, that's a great question. That's a very deep question. DXP has a suite of products in the industrial world. So it's rotating equipment, pumps, it's conveying systems, it's safety services. What we try to do is we try to become the technical experts. So the problem solving is, how can we solve your technical problem? And we are constantly trying to be compared to, oh, you're just like Amazon. Oh, you're just like, and they try to move us into a place where they can buy our technical expertise on the internet. And you just can't do that.
Okay.
You're not going to go to a doctor who's going to do heart surgery via a Zoom call.
That's right.
It's effective and efficient, but it's just not going to work. And so, I really try to work with the sales pros and try to help them differentiate the technical nature of what they do.
And what are the tools that you use to do that with?
Some tools we use is simple sales training. We are a big proponent of a sales process called Impact, IMPACT. And it's from a company out of North Carolina called the Brooks Group. So we really try to create a sales language and a sales culture around this 6-step process: investigate, meet, probe, apply, convince, and tie it up. We feel that if you have a repeatable and predictable process, that's your differentiator. And again, to your entrepreneurs who are listening, that is your differentiator, the commitment to excellence in that training.
Wow. And so is this the sales gym, the DXP sales gym?
I created the sales gym.
I like that.
Well, salespeople are motivated by products, they're by points, by a competition. So I have an internal sales training program. We call it a learning management system. And once you take these courses online, you get points. And when you reach a certain amount of points, you can exchange your points for product at the DXP Sales Gym store. Coffee mugs, t-shirts, things of that nature with the logo on there. Okay. And you cannot believe how competitive people get when it comes to this. They want to get more points than anyone else. And then they don't want to give up their points, but they want the merchandise. And so I learned, even as a college professor, I said, you know what, I'm doing it wrong. And I went back to the teams and I said, Tell you what, you can keep your points. What do you want from the store? Oh, I want the mug. I want the water bottle. I want this. I want that. And the next thing you know, people are walking around our very large company with all of this swag and the stuff
Right.
we all get. It's classic. It's a classic branding move.
Okay, so do you recommend that entrepreneurs do something like that, or small business owners put together some kind of spirit program?
I do believe that they should have something that would attract a tribe. And so that tribe is going to be that loyalty, that stickiness, that people will come and buy your product or service and be part of that tribe that says, we're unique because we're aligned with you. And so the DSP sales gym is unique because you have to listen and learn and take these courses. And the byproduct of taking the courses is the knowledge transference.
Absolutely. So what is your advice for entrepreneurs?
My advice for entrepreneurs is always be curious, always be gaining education, whether it's what we talked about prior to recording, which is the art of having a conversation, being curious, picking up a TED Talk on sales or marketing or psychological behaviors of buyers or market impact. Every piece of available knowledge is on the internet, in a book, in a podcast, on a recording. That's why you came to this table and turned your microphone on to allow your audience to learn and to grow and to pick up these tools. And by bringing myself and other phenomenal guests on your show, you're giving these entrepreneurs every piece of advantage they need to compete in tomorrow's workplace.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like how you put that together, because it is, you can't pay for all this knowledge. You go up to, you listen to a podcast, episode after episode after episode. Like you see, a phenomenal guest from phenomenal experts are coming on, giving this information. And so with that, it kind of segues into how can we work with you, or how can we get in touch with you to find more and, go a little deeper.
Absolutely. I love to pay it forward. I am an open book. I have a LinkedIn profile, which is out there. My last name is Tueffert. I'm the only one out there. I'm an email address away from everybody and anybody, and we can use, I've got various email addresses, but I'll just give you the simple one, which is my Gmail address, C Tueffert, CTUEFFERT @gmail.com. And if anyone has an idea, a frustration, a problem, they want to collaborate, they want to bounce ideas off of me, I would love to be able to do that for your audience. That would be my gift back to you for allowing me the humility to be on your show.
Oh, awesome. Great. So everyone, please make sure that you plug into his email, Tueffert @gmail.com, and definitely look them up on LinkedIn and make that connection, because our networks are important. I think my last episode last month that I had done was on networking. And so that was an important piece there of, reaching out, talking to someone that's on our level, somewhere around the same level as us, someone that's forward with us, you're beyond us, and then someone that's coming along behind us. And so we keep that cycle going, and everyone, grows and gets to the next level and the next level. And I didn't want to end our time together without talking about your books. I know we talked about, I talked about, in the intro and how you apply things to credit unions, but you are the author of 2 books, and one you're part of an anthology. So if you want to go ahead and speak to that, I'll let you have the last word, and so maybe we can also glean some more and when we contact you about that.
Absolutely. So the book is 5 Stones for Slaying Giants, critical factors for business and life. My 5 stones are passion, excellence, vision, value, and confidence. The book is in the Kindle format on Amazon, easy to read, easier to apply.
Well, Curt, if that's it, we're going to end our time today, but not our relationship. We're just getting started.
Love it. Yeah, thank you, Audrey.
Yep, you're welcome. Take care. So everyone, remember to look up Curt Tueffert on LinkedIn, check out his books, and let's keep our cycle and our circle growing. Thank you. Take care.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to The Business Chop. We hope that you were able to glean valuable information from our guests and that you will download and share this podcast. Your rating and review is much appreciated. To go deeper with our guests, please visit their website and social channels. To learn more about us, please visit businesschop.info or altogether.biz, where we will help you expand your brand.